where I'm going. The dangling carrot that hang from the rear view. Your dreams in the past ain't nowhere near you. Backseat drivers got nothing but 2 cents. Shotgun riders too biased, they all liars. I should get an A for effort, I'm too tired. But I'm never giving up, that's why I'm kinda admired. Role model, like it or not, I gotta play it. Sugarcoat the rhyme sometimes, but still say it. Said I was quitting at 40 is just a fib. I'm still a kid that's wiping the food off of my bib. You ever wanted something so bad that you could taste it? Cried over every opportunity wasted.
Okay, so all this week we've been riding the brand new Royal Enfield Continental GT 650. I've got Holly with me, who's also been riding it the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been really an interesting experience. I've been a fan of for a while with this bike. I mean, I've seen it at tons of shows, and you know, it's been great.
I mean, it's my first time ever riding Royal Enfield, and yeah, what a fantastic little bike.
The Continental, obviously, it's part of the brand new twin range, 650 twin range from Royal Enfield.
Yeah.
Which, you know, as we've discussed in the Interceptor video that we just did,
Yeah.
you know, it takes the Royal Enfield brand and models into a new place that they've never been in before.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, totally, yeah.
And I think that's going to fit the European and certainly the English market really well, because there's no doubt that they're stunning bikes,
Yeah.
and that people love them.
Yeah, I think especially with the Continental, that Café Racer look, which is such a massive trend now, isn't it? There is so much love at the moment for Café Racers, and to be able to pick one up that looks like that without you having to spend tons and tons of money to get it to look like that, it's going to be such a popular bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It is a Café Racer.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And you know, I've seen quite a lot of reviews on some of the 650 twins. You know, whether they've been reviewing the Interceptor and the Continental, and they've just kind of said, well, basically they're both the same, but one's just got drop bars, and I don't think that quite does it justice. Actually, I think
No.
they're totally two different models.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The look of them is chalk and cheese, isn't it? Really.
Totally.
No, that Café Racer frame, they've absolutely hit the nail on the head with that. Because
Yeah.
new riders, you know, that are learning, you know, it's a massive craze at the moment, the Café Racer, and that is going to tap really nicely into that market.
Yeah, sure thing. And you know, it's probably the first time that I've ridden a bike like that, like a proper Café Racer.
Okay.
So, but it is a riding position I'm sort of more used to on a daily basis. Obviously, with my
Yeah.
bike, it's quite leant forward.
Yeah.
I know. How did you find the riding position?
Yeah, I found it. I mean, it's very different, but very easy to get used to. My bars are I think they're called butt bars, so they're sort of up and sort of in this kind of position,
Proper
so
Harley.
I'm straight backed. Yeah, and this is the drop bars, but they're not as dropped as some bikes. I mean, I haven't ridden, for instance, like a Triumph Thruxton, but sitting on them at the shows, I mean, they are really lent down. And these are kind of somewhere in between that. I think they're enough to look really cool, but they're not enough to make it an unrideable bike. I mean, I think you could definitely go some distance on that bike.
100%. And actually, out of the two bikes, the Interceptor and the Continental GT 650, I way prefer the Continental. 650, the riding position. I feel way more at home on it. And you know, I just think it's a much more engaging ride for me
you.
personally,
Yeah.
depending on what I'm used to. I absolutely love it.
I think because I'm more familiar with the bar and the style of the Interceptor, then I feel like you do, but about that.
Yeah.
But looks-wise, I would pick the Continental every time.
Sure. And you know, if you've actually never ridden a Royal Enfield before, I think one of the amazing things, and obviously we've ridden quite a few different Royal Enfield models, one of the things that you get to find out is that people love them, you know.
Yeah.
From a massive age gap, you will get people in the street just sort of like come up, hey mate, what's that bike? That looks, you know, that looks awesome. You know, it's quite overwhelming actually. I've never had that on any other model of bike we've ever tested, so it's quite an interesting thing.
Okay, yeah, and I think it's actually it's a kind of bike where people, even if it didn't have Royal Enfield written on the side, they'd almost know what it was.
Yeah.
And I feel a little bit like that with Harley, that sometimes you could see one and you just kind of know by the shape of it, and yeah, it's got Royal Enfield written all over it, as well as having the emblems on the side of the tanks as well.
Well, I know the design brief was with the Continental 650 was actually to keep quite in tap with the Continental 535 that they had before. Actually, what we've got plastered on the on the side there, and actually, really I think if you put the two together, it's got that heritage. You know, they've kept quite true to what they've done in the past, so that's quite interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, the Continental that we've had was the Ice Queen. Is that what it's called?
The Ice Queen.
Colourway, which is a kind of cream. Is it an off-white? Would you describe it?
Yeah, probably off-white with blue.
With the blue detailing, and the blue actually got like a sparkle in it as well. Don't know if you noticed that. It's quite.
No, I didn't notice that.
Oh right,
okay.
It's a girl thing.
Okay, but it is good. So the Ice Queen is £5,899 in the UK.
Okay.
They start off at £5,699, and then obviously that's a little bump up. So obviously featured to the twins is a brand new engine, right? It's a 650 parallel twin, 648cc parallel twin. It's got 47 horsepower, 52 newton meters of torque. My experience of it, particularly in this bike, is really smooth.
Yeah.
I've been amazed at how smooth it is.
Yeah.
It's got a really nice swell of torque right through the rev range.
Yeah, and going through the gears as well, it performs well in each one actually, doesn't it?
It does, and I think they've geared it so that there is torque and power available in every gear.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, and certainly, like if you get caught out in a corner in the wrong gear.
Oh yeah, no, it's no problem.
It's no problem. It just kind of tugs for it. It doesn't chug. You know, that's what's quite cool about it. And obviously, some of the other single cylinder thumpers that Royal Enfield would have might do some of that. This engine is way more smooth. It's a smooth engine, and it has got a half decent amount of power. I wouldn't have said it was a fast motorbike, but it does encourage you to ride it pretty hard, particularly with the Continental GT. I found myself really pushing it, and I've really enjoyed doing that. And while I was thinking, Café Racer, what's all that about? Actually having rode it and taking it through some of the nice twisties that we've got here, I can see myself, actually, do you know what, it would be quite fun to race between cafe to cafe, because I think that's originally what Café Racer was about, right?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, actually riding behind you when I was on the Interceptor and watching you on it, it looked like you were having loads of fun on it.
Loads of fun.
Yeah.
Loads of fun.
And you can kind of see that, you can throw it about a little bit.
And Jeff, the managing director of the company, actually rode quite a lot on the Continental 650. And you'll kind of see him clipped in the videos because he is riding the bike at different points. But he's an ex-racer. He's a really good rider.
Oh, he's an amazing rider.
And his opinion was that he really loved the bike as well. He totally bought into that kind of concept.
Yeah.
Obviously it's less power than he's used to, but he really enjoyed riding it pretty hard in the corners and stuff. I mean,
there's a couple of times we realised, didn't we, that the GoPro wasn't on, and we got all the way to the top of the pass, to the bottom, and it's not on, and no problem. He shot back up there, raring to do it again, wasn't it? So maybe he did it on purpose. He wanted to have another go.
Yeah, and like me, he was more of a fan of the Continental GT 650 than the Interceptor. But I think that's probably the kind of bikes that we ride.
Yeah, for sure.
You can totally throw it about, and obviously we're going to talk about the handling, but it also sounds nice as well, right?
Sounds great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite a rumble, quite a deep rumble, but it's not overpowering. Yeah, it's a cool sound.
And the twin silencers on it, I think that they're some of the most new bikes I'd sort of seriously consider about changing the exhaust.
Yeah.
This one, I don't think I'd bother. I think they look great, they sound great, they do the job. Yeah. There's no need.
I think coming out of a showroom and just buying a bike as is, I can't think of anything, number one, for the price that they've got this up for, that looks like how it looks, and also, like you're saying, that sounds like how it sounds, and you haven't actually got to spend any extra money on it.
No.
I don't think there's actually anything else on the market for that price that you could get something straight out and have it and ride it, and it looks great without you having to sort of make any mods at all. So while we are here in the studio, I just wanted to as well talk a little bit about what we were wearing yesterday. So it was the new Urban Pro from Knox, which is it is an armoured shirt, but it's also a jacket in its own right. that was perfect for what we were doing yesterday as well, wasn't it? So it's really, it was a really good opportunity to test them out.
Oh, sure.
And I really loved it, and I really like how it looks on as well. I felt really, really comfortable in it.
Fantastic.
I actually had like a tight-fitting cold killers underneath mine, and then I had my Urban Pro on top. You being a bit more hardy, were just in like a t-shirt, weren't you, with it over? Was that you all right temperature yesterday?
Yeah. I mean, you know, when the sun went down, it got a little bit chilly, but that was the point where, you know, I put my quilted jacket on over the top.
Yeah.
But that's the benefit with the Urban Pro, is that you can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and you can just stick anything over the top. Obviously, a quilted jacket's got no abrasion resistance.
No.
In it.
No.
But you know, but you're relying on the Urban Pro for that, so it really does open sort of doors to dress it differently.
You can put something underneath it or something over it. And then, you just chuck something in your bag, a hoodie or something you think, I was going to get a bit chilly later on, I'll pop that on later.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for summer riding as well, it's going to be fantastic, because it's even lighter than the Zephyr, isn't it?
Quite a bit,
Quite a bit, yeah. So I think it's fantastic. I actually really like the thumb loops as well. That's a new thing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, because then you just get your glove over, and it just, you don't get that kind of rucking up on your wrists.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool.
It's good. Right, so what we're going to do with all the gear is put the link in the description. So if you want to find out what we wore on test, just check out below and you can see all the products that we were using.
And big iPhone users like myself, the pockets are great.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the handling, Holly?
I thought the handling was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't tried the previous Royal Enfield, so can't compare it to them. But doing the roads that we did yesterday, I mean, it wouldn't have been possible on my Harley at all. So to think that I could actually have a go at something like that and ride roads like that on that kind of bike, and you just take to it. I feel like you sort of get on it and you just, there's nothing difficult about it, you know.
No.
That it just does what it's told, and it's really sort of, I mean, in terms of handling yesterday, I found it, the road wasn't easy, but the bike was easy to ride.
That's great. Well, you know, I think they've spent a huge amount of time and investment in that whole handling department, 100%, and they collaborated with Harris Performance on the chassis and on the suspension, and you can really tell. I mean, the Continental 650 is just eats corners. It's really stable. I think it's easy to turn in.
Yeah.
You know, while it is quite a heavy bike, sometimes with a heavy bike you can feel like it doesn't want to turn in. Certainly a Thruxton now, it's a bit of an arrow. It just wants to go straight all the time.
Okay. This
one actually really does want to. It does want to turn into the corners, and it's bloody stable while it's there as well.
Yeah.
So I'm a real fan of the chassis. I think it handles really well.
Yeah.
And I think the suspension is good too.
Yeah, the suspension was great.
Up the front you've got non-adjustable shock, which I think is great. And on the rear you've got a twin gas fork suspension that is adjustable.
Okay.
But you know, and it actually comes with its own little tool in the toolkit to change it, which I think is a nice touch.
Yeah, that's a really cool touch.
Yeah. Brakes.
I mean, again, the brakes for me, I mean, I think, again, with our different backgrounds of different bikes, we've got different views on brakes. Anything to my bike is an improvement, and I mean, probably the opposite with you, because I could imagine your brakes are pretty sharp.
They're all right.
I felt like the brakes were good. I mean, they were in use a lot, especially coming down that pass yesterday. All first gear, all braking, engine braking and braking. It did the job.
For me personally, obviously the Continental GT has single, like the Interceptor. I mean, the specs on the brakes are the same.
Okay.
So you got 320mm single up the front. You got 210mm on the back. I think for me personally, with a bike that, you know, with all
weighs as much as it does.
When it's fueled, it does weigh 230 kilos.
Yeah.
And it's capable of over 100 mile an hour.
So you feel like you need a bit more.
I think you need a bit more power. There's initial bite there, but I think, you know, overall power, it's a lump to stop at that kind of speed.
Yeah.
And maybe not everyone's going to be riding it like that, but, you know, I just think, we just need a bit more oomph behind the brake. That's maybe nitpicking, but, you know, that's my point of view.
Okay.
So comfort, Holly, what do you think?
Comfort, long riding. I mean,
You prefer the Interceptor?
I prefer the Interceptor. The seat was more padded. There's just a little bit more comfort. The other one was giving me a little bit of a numb bum at points. And I think because of the positioning of the bars as well. But again, I think if you're used to riding like that, I think people would just have no bother with that at all.
So while our particular model was fit with a single seat and it's got the seat cowl on it, they do actually come as a twin seat as standard.
Okay.
And they've got to do that. Part of the regulations, they've got to have a twin seat, and that single seat is an adding extra. But I know you can get a more comfortable seat. You can get a touring seat for it, so that would solve
that's
some
a game
of that.
changer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I think as well, if you're bar hopping and things, you'd want the Café Racer on there.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it looks so cool.
Done it.
But that's brilliant if you can change it up and have something different.
So the tyres fitted exactly the same as the Interceptor 650, the Pirelli Phantom Sport comps.
Okay.
I've got no reservations. You know, all this week has actually been dry, which is like really something for Cumbria. But I haven't rode it in the wet yet. But in the dry, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
I've got rid of all the chicken strips on that bike, and you know, it really encourages you with the handling. I mean, it's great. No issues from me.
No, it didn't feel sort of slippery.
No.
And actually, we were having to park up in some quite tricky areas yesterday to get out the way of the cars, and we had a bit of gravel and actually got it onto the grass, didn't we, at one point as well, and that was quite bumpy, and it seemed like you didn't have any issue at all with that.
No.
So it looks good.
A nice tyre. Nice tyre. Okay, so that's been our conversation and our little review on the Continental GT 650. I have to say, I'm a fan of this bike.
Yeah.
And for me, I prefer the Interceptor. You prefer the Interceptor.
For ride, but this for look.
Yeah, okay. So
it's very pretty.
Yeah.
Really pretty bike.
It is, and you know what? I really encourage people to take this on board. You know, it's a great bike at a great price.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It needs to be tested to be appreciated, doesn't it?
100%. Okay, so look, hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know what you think. Please like, please comment, and subscribe to the channel too. And we will see you
in the next one.
Well,
you will.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me, because I've had a great time.
Have you?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks. Jeff, as well, who's
Dad.
Yeah.
Boss man.
Obviously, actually, it does. While our particular model was fit with the very good. I mean, well, you know.